Hey YouTube, it's Alicia here. I'm here to review The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 7, Episode 10. So this week we open up with Kyle, and they are setting up the trip to Mexico. It turns out Mauricio has to go to Punta Mita to open up a new office for his agency. So that's great for Mauricio. So Kyle thinks it's a great opportunity to go down there, invite her friends along. So PK and Dorit are going, Erica Jane's going, Lisa and Eileen are going, and Lisa Vanderpump and Kim. This is Mauricio's 10th office. So everyone's going to fly down together, but Lisa Rinna and Eileen are going to go the next day. Lisa Rinna's daughter Delilah is walking in her very first fashion show for New York Fashion Week for Tommy Hilfiger. And Eileen is filming probably for Young and the Restless. They didn't really go into detail, but they just said she was filming. But they're both going down the next day. So we see Lisa Vanderpump. She's in her closet talking to her maid, and they're packing for Mexico. Eden shows up. And so Eden says she's come over to talk to Lisa Vanderpump, and Lisa Vanderpump is confused and says, "Why did you want to talk to me?" So they decide to do one of those intercut scenes where we have Lisa Vanderpump talking to Eden and Lisa Rinna talking to Kyle. Lisa Rinna goes over to Kyle's store, where Kyle's hard at work, to talk to her about the party the night before. She goes in, she's like, "Hey, Kyle, you look great, and I was here yesterday shopping." And I was thinking, okay, so Lisa Rinna must have been tipped off that the crap is about to hit the fan because she's spending a lot of money in Kyle's store. She's trying to ingratiate herself, hoping that she can come out of the season alive. Lisa Rinna even goes so far as to say that she had a really nice time at the party and had a nice moment with Kim. So then we go back to Lisa Vanderpump and Eden. And Eden's starting to explain to Lisa Vanderpump that her whole life has been surrounded by alcohol, and she suddenly finds herself thrust into this very sticky situation with the Richards sisters. And so Lisa Vanderpump says, "Why do you feel like you have to be so involved?" So Eden says that she thinks that Kim is sober and has never doubted that at all. And I was like, for real, Eden? Like, are we just rewriting history here? Like, you never doubted this woman's sobriety? Like, come on now. Meanwhile, back at the store, Kyle is talking about Eden and how Eden keeps inserting herself in the situation, and she's sitting here just wondering why she's just so invested. And Lisa Rinna saying, "I don't know why she's so interested. You know, I try not to talk about you guys. I'm not really sure what she knows, what she thinks about. Just doesn't even offer me any kind of possible reason why Eden is really invested in the relationship." In fact, Lisa Rinna tries to put a positive spin on it and says, "Well, you know, Eden has gone through this before. She really sees herself in you guys, and she feels like she wasn't able to fix her sister, so she really wants to try to fix you guys. But, you know, puts it all on Eden, has nothing to do with it. You know, Eden's just a bleeding heart." Meanwhile, while Lisa Rinna is trying to just wash her hands of it, stay clean, we see flashbacks of course, Lisa Rinna in the store with Eden saying that she doesn't think Kim is 100% sober, that that Kyle is an enabler, and that Kyle even knows that Kim is close to death. Now, the editors keep on driving home this point that Lisa Rinna said all this stuff. Like they are trying to bury Lisa Rinna. So we go back to Lisa Vanderpump and Eden. Eden starts to relay the story about the store and how poor Eden was just sitting there innocently shopping when all of a sudden Lisa Rinna starts downloading all of this stuff about Kim's sobriety and Kyle being an enabler. And what was she supposed to do with her experience with alcoholism and losing her sister? She couldn't just sit idly by. So she totally throws Lisa Rinna under the bus. Now, we know Lisa Rinna did say these things, but Lisa Rinna did not put Eden up to getting involved, especially to this degree. Like, we all saw Eden doing the most at that lunch with Lisa Rinna and Kyle, asking all these personal questions. I mean, she barely sat down before she was all of a sudden asking, "Where did the alcoholism start? Was your mother an alcoholic?" I mean, Eden did all that by herself. So Lisa Vanderpump is just eating it up, man. She's just like, just loving it, because, you know, she still has that vendetta against Lisa Rinna from last season. And she even goes so far as to say that, yeah, Lisa Rinna is saying all of these things, and she's probably going to say that Lisa Vanderpump told her to say it. And I'm thinking, you know what, Lisa, you really should just let it go. Because we all know that you do things behind the scenes as everybody else does. It's a reality show. So she's trying to further exonerate herself by saying, I'm totally innocent. I tried to tell y'all that Lisa Rinna was a problem. Back at the store, Lisa Rinna, to her credit, is really trying to not ruffle the feathers too much. Yes, she's put all the blame on Eden and acts like she's innocent and doesn't know what's going on. But she tells Kyle, Eden's coming from a good place. Don't be mad at her. Yeah, she's coming on a little bit too strong, but she means well. Lisa Vanderpump is like, okay, so thanks for all the juicy gossip. Can I tell Kyle? Because I'm going to tell Kyle, whether you say yes or no, because that's my girl. So I'm just letting you know that this is going to come up. And even invites Eden to Mexico. Next, after that, we have a quick scene with Dorit and PK. They go to lunch with their two children, Phoenix and Jagger, and they have a quick conversation about Jagger still being in speech therapy, and they're trying to teach him to say different things. And so PK asks Dorit, does she think that Jagger's going to have an American accent or a British accent? And she says, oh, for sure, American. And I was like, just 2 videos ago, I was saying that, like, hey, they're confusing this kid because Dorit can't keep her accent straight. Of course, PK has an authentic accent, but then they have all those nannies that have different accents as well. So who really knows how the kid's going to sound? As long as he speaks, I'm good with it. We get a quick scene of Lisa Rinna packing for Mexico. She's going to go to New York first, because Delilah is walking in New York Fashion Week, as I said, for Tommy Hilfiger, and then she's going to go straight from New York to Mexico. And then suddenly, we're in Mexico, and Erica Jane gets off the plane, and she immediately wants a margarita and a burrito, and she just keeps saying that. We're starting to see Erica kind of come out of her shell a little bit. She's really relaxed, and probably because she's with Kyle, who she feels very comfortable with, and Mauricio, and Lisa Vanderpump, and Ken, and so she's feeling a little more comfortable. And I think Dorit and PK are already there, too, so we're seeing more of her interactions with them. The place where they're staying is beautiful. It is so big and it's open with beautiful views. The bedrooms are nice. They're spacious. Most of them have double beds. It's a really, really, really beautiful place. It's actually one of Mauricio's partners who works there. It's his uncle's house. So he's living large down there. So we go to New York, where Lisa Rinna is talking with Delilah and asking her how is she doing, is she nervous, and Delilah's really nervous. We find out that Gigi Hadid is also in the show, that she's opening and closing, and Delilah says that she's pretty excited about meeting Gigi, and I was kind of surprised they didn't know each other. Like, I know that, last season there was bad blood between Lisa Rinna and Yolanda, but the season before that, it was okay. So I was just thinking, like, if you're on a show together, aren't there cast parties, like a wrap party or something where the families would get together? Maybe the kids weren't invited. I don't know. And I know that Gigi's a few years older than Delilah, but still, I would have thought their paths might have crossed, at least once. But she says she's excited to meet her, has never met her, and she's hoping that things are not weird because of the whole feud between Yolanda and Lisa Rinna. Next, we go on to Eileen. She's going to see her therapist. And that's pretty much all we saw of Eileen this show, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, so she goes to see her therapist. She's having a hard time with her grieving. Apparently, her son is uncomfortable seeing her grieve. So she's kind of feeling guilty. She's holding it in. And I thought, how sad is that you don't feel comfortable grieving? And she's lost, like, a significant amount of people. So it seems like her son should be the one that's talking to someone about why he's having a hard time watching his mom process his grief, because grieving is very, very normal and natural, and maybe they need to be working with him and not her. So I don't know. The whole thing is kind of sad that she's having a hard time being able to really get those feelings out. Maybe acting is her release, because then she truly can have those feelings and it's okay to feel. So they're back in Mexico, and Dorit and Kyle and Erica Jane go jet skiing. So Dorit and Kyle are on one jet ski and Erica's on another one. So Erica lets us know she's from Georgia. She's, what does she call herself? redneck, I think she said, and she likes to go fast. So she's showing off on her jet ski. She's standing up, she's doing turns, and she's doing the most on the jet ski. Meanwhile, Kyle says she's very cautious, and it looks like they're going pretty quick, but we have a little confessional of Dorit saying that Kyle's going pretty slow. But while Eric is out there doing all these turns and everything, she falls off of her jet ski. But it kind of looks like she stands up but then deliberately falls backwards. And I don't know what you guys thought of that scene, but of course Kyle and Dorita are like, oh no, is she okay? And she was fine. She just swam over to her jet ski and everything was good. But, a little bit of drama there. Meanwhile, back in New York, Lisa Rinna meets up with Camille. Camille is also in New York for Fashion Week. Her daughter is also in some, I don't know, I don't remember which show they said she was in. I don't think she was in Tommy Hilfiger, and I think she'd already actually walked before she met with Lisa Rinna. So Camille's daughter is 14. Her name is Mason. And they start talking about, how Camille is saying it's been 6 or 7 years, that Kelsey still won't even speak to her, that she's moved on and she'd like to, co-parent and everything, but, it's kind of awkward. And I just thought, man, Kelsey won't even talk to the lady? Like, she's not asking to get back together. But, I don't know, Camille. And who knows? Maybe she's got that way with Kelsey where he wouldn't be able to resist if he had let her back in even a little bit. Who knows? Some people have those kinds of exes, Maybe he's doing it for his own protection. So then Camille and Lisa Rinna start talking about the Richard sisters, and Lisa Rinna says, look, I'm in a better place. I don't want to get involved in whatever's going on with those two girls. That's between them. They briefly talk about Eden, and Lisa Rinna tells Camille that she's talked to Eden and said, listen, don't get involved. You can't fix something that's not fixable. And sure enough, they show a flashback of her telling Eden that very thing. So we've got Eden saying, Lisa Rinna made me do it. And we see Lisa Rinna saying, look, yeah, she made all those comments, but we never really see her saying, you need to get involved and you need to save her life and you're the only one that can do it. She kind of alluded to the fact that she thought maybe she might be able to help since she could relate to her, but we never saw Lisa Rinna like a puppeteer, like pushing her towards that. So anyway, we also see her, trying to say, down, girl, it's not fixable. I've walked that road. I've been there, done that. Just save yourself. So we're going to see what really happens. Meanwhile, Lisa Rinna says she's on a path of healing and forgiveness. So back in Mexico, Lisa Vanderpump gets her moment with Kyle. They go off on a walk together, and they have some idle chit-chat. And so Kyle brings up the fact that Eden had gone over to see Lisa Vanderpump. And Lisa Vanderpump says, yes, she came by for a visit. So Kyle is like already defensive, like, oh, did she come to talk about me? And Lisa Vanderpump says, yes, but I think you have it a little bit wrong. And Kyle's like, no, I knew it. And she's like, just hear me out. So she pretty much just flat out says, look, Lisa Rinna told Eden that your sister's not completely, that Lisa Rinna said she's not completely sober, that you were an enabler, and that Kim is near death. And Kyle is like, what? While she was listening to it, she was just kind of like thinking about it. But then when Lisa Vanderpump said that she's near death, then she was like, what? Like, what is going on? And so you could just see her like in shock. And she tells Lisa Vanderpump, I was just with Lisa Rinna at my store, and I was asking, why is Eden really so invested? And she's acted like she didn't know. And I was, even during the scene, I thought, you know what, Lisa Rinna? If you had just come clean at that one moment, then it wouldn't be so bad. But you look crazy. You look bad. Not crazy, but you look bad, like you're trying to hide the truth. And maybe that was deliberate because you knew it was going to come up. Maybe you're trying to keep the drama going in the show. But it was so obvious that you were withholding information, as a viewer, because we knew the whole story. But I could see why Kyle would be upset. So Kyle's mad. And she's like, you know what? Lisa Rinna has talked a lot about Kim, and she apologized to me, and she said she was not going to do it anymore. And man, the editors, they come through with a montage of Lisa Rinna talking nonstop about Kim last season, any chance she got. She really did talk about Kim a lot. Lisa Vanderpump just fully throwing Lisa Rinna under the bus. She has it in for Lisa Rinna. And unfortunately, Lisa Rinna did say those things. So I'm not saying Lisa Rinna is innocent at all. But Lisa Vanderpump is saying that pretty much Lisa Rinna gassed up Eden, and then just abandoned her. So whenever Eden would bring up these things in the group, Lisa Rinna had nothing to say. And we saw that. We saw that when I mentioned a few minutes ago, when we saw that Lisa Rinna and Kyle met with Eden. I even said then, Lisa Rinna didn't even warn Kyle that Eden was going to be in her grill about her family's drinking history. And Lisa Rinna did not say anything that entire lunch. And even in that episode, I remember that Eden had even said, well, where was Lisa Rinna? She didn't say anything. And I said then, Lisa Rinna's out there letting Eden hang herself. But see, the tables have turned. And now, Lisa Rinna is the one who's now being hung. So that night at dinner, Kyle announces to the table that Eileen and Lisa Rinna will be arriving the next day. And she starts to tell the ladies about what Lisa Vanderpump had shared with her earlier that day on their walk. All the ladies are shocked. They're like, what? And Erica doesn't want to believe it. She's like, I like Lisa Rinna. I don't know if she said it or not. And she tries to encourage Kyle to give her the benefit of the doubt. Meanwhile, Dorit pipes up and says, oh, well, you know, Eden and Lisa Rinna have been known to pop Xanax in their smoothies. And she tells again about the day they all went over to Eden's house and Eden made them smoothies, and that Lisa Rinna brought out this bag of vitamins. Now, we just saw her tell this story 2 weeks ago, and she tried to tell Boy George and Lisa Vanderpump about this baggie. And so when Lisa Vanderpump was trying to understand like the nature of this baggie of pills, you know, Dorit started to act like Lisa Vanderpump was blowing it out of proportion. And she's like, no, it's nothing big. So now here she is bringing it up again, but this time, yet again, she's intimating that it is a bag of drugs, it's all Xanax, and who knows what else, when we know that it's mostly vitamins. So, you know, Eden is just really, I keep saying Eden. Dorit is really trying to push it and drive it on home that something's wrong with Lisa Rinna and Eden. And so when she said that Eden also pops a Xanax or takes a couple of pills, Kyle is like, what? I thought she was sober. And she says, well, you know, she takes it every once in a while. So then, of course, you know, Kyle's mad. Like, why is she attacking Kim? She's a hypocrite. I mean, that's got to be so frustrating for Kyle to have everybody always talking about your sister. I mean, it's already a painful, difficult situation anyway, without the public, you know, opinion on it all the time, even amongst your friends. So now Kyle is just really, really, really dreading Lisa Rinna showing up the next day. Like, she is really dreading it. The next morning, they're up eating breakfast, and Kyle's asking, when do you think they're going to get here? And it looks like she comes while they're eating breakfast. And so Lisa Rinna comes in. She's like, good morning, good morning, good morning. And she's all loud, and she's, you know, being happy. And so Kyle says, well, I'm sorry I didn't greet you better, but we were having a perfect moment. Like, already on edge. And she said she can't fake it. I mean, she said she doesn't want to not greet her. She doesn't want to not speak to her because that's not good either. But she's really not good at hiding her emotions and everything. So she's going to have to confront her. And Erica Jane had even asked her the night before, are you going to talk to her? And she said at that time she wasn't really sure how she was going to handle it. So I guess she's going to handle it the best way she can initially till she gets a chance to confront her. So that was it for this episode. We kind of leave on a little cliffhanger of what's really going to happen. There's tension between Lisa Rinna and Kyle. And then they show a trailer for what's coming up in the season. And it's a whole lot of confrontation. We get to see Kyle confront Lisa Rinna. We see Lisa Rinna breaking down crying. So evidently she's going to throw herself on the sword and say, I'm so sorry, God, please forgive me. Because, you know, Lisa Rinna, she doesn't want to have beef or anything with anybody. She wants to keep working. She wants to keep making that money. So she's going to try to do whatever she can to get out of this jam. I'm sure of it. And yet, in this trailer, we see Lisa Rinna, and it could have been, you know, just the editors cutting a scene, but Lisa Rinna asks Kyle does she trust her husband. And so Kyle gets all upset because, you know, how many times we've heard about these rumors about Mauricio being unfaithful, but she's like, don't ask me if I trust my husband. So it's just a little clip. So they're going to have something. We see PK confronting Erica Jane, and we've seen an undercurrent of tension between them the whole season since day one. And it doesn't make sense. Like, I can understand, you know, PK and Dorit being against Eileen and Lisa Rinna because they're friends of Lisa Vanderpump. But so far, there hasn't been anything between Lisa Vanderpump and Erica Jane. So they have their own feud against Erica Jane, and I'm not really sure what it is, but we saw it started way back at the beginning. Dorit's first party. So I'm not really sure. But anyway, in the clip, we see PK telling Erica Jane that she's cold, but that she's not deliberately cold, but inherently cold. And we see, of course, Erica just standing there, stoic. That's what she does. She doesn't give you the reaction that you want. So good for her. There's a clip of Erica breaking down, crying, that ugly cry, y'all, telling us we don't know what she goes through every night. What could that be about? There's a juicy confrontation between Eric and Dorit, finally, because something's been going on under the surface the entire time. And Erica has not really confronted her. She's kind of let the panty gate go. Dorit was ugly to her face about upgrading her look at her birthday, at PK's birthday party after the whole t-shirt gate, a couple weeks back. I mean, Dorit has had it in for Erica for some reason, and I haven't seen any kind of provocation from Erica's side. So we're finally going to see Erica call her out on her BS, and we'll have to see what happens with that. But it looks juicy. So then we see Eden yelling at somebody. And it's a different clip, because I remember on the season trailer, we saw Eden screaming at somebody and yelling at them. And it was a different clip. But this clip, she's yelling, saying, I gave you my heart, I trusted you, whatever. And it appears that she's yelling at Lisa Rinna. So I'm sure this whole store thing blows up and that Lisa Rinna found some way to slither out of it, or tried to, and blame it all on Eden. And Eden's going to feel affronted and going to be fighting back on that. So that's my prediction. We didn't see anything in this season trailer about Eileen. Eileen's kind of under the radar, right? And her, the introduction, whatever they're called, their little things at the beginning, she says she sees and hears everything, but she doesn't speak any evil. So I'm really wondering, where is Eileen this season? She needs to get into the mix. So I could say my prediction is that Lisa Rinna is not going to come out of this season favorably. She had a rough season last season. She tried to do damage control at the beginning of the season, talking about her father's death, gave her new perspective, whatever. But her running her mouth in that store just undid all that goodwill that she might have built up in the first few shows. So I don't know. I was listening to a podcast last week that was... Actually, I listened to it this week. That was recorded 2 weeks ago. And Lisa Rinna was saying that pretty much the only ladies she speaks to these days are Eileen, of course, and Erica Jane. That's it. And that her relationship with Lisa Vanderpump is just non-existent. They just are cordial. So, yeah, they're about to I think they're going to film this reunion soon, and it's probably going to be a hot one, guys. So what did you guys think of this show, y'all? Leave me a comment below, and let's talk about it. I want to hear all of your opinions about what you thought about the show this week. Whose side are you on between Eden and Lisa Rinna? Do you think that Lisa Rinna set up Eden to take the fall all by herself? Do you think Eden has suddenly got wind of it through the producers, and now she's trying to, do damage control and sell Lisa Rinna out and throw her under the bus? What do y'all really think is going on? Who do you think is going to come out the winner in this whole little kerfuffle? Anyway, look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks again for watching and liking and subscribing. Be sure to tag a friend, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.